If you're a barber, then you'd know who Sam Rascals is. You know, that barber with the nice aesthetic, the one with the Porsche deal, that guy whose cuts always seem so clean. But I want you to think about that for a second. Why do you actually think this? You've probably never had a haircut from him. It's likely you haven't met him in real life. So why do you feel like you already know him? Well, it's not because he's the best barber in the world. There's thousands of other barbers with skill just as good. And he didn't get lucky either. And if you're a barber thinking, well, I post content too, and I don't get half the recognition he does, how does he do it? Well, I'm gonna break down for you the exact system he used to become an authority in the barbering industry and not just another guy who cuts hair. Okay, so let's start with the evidence. Here are 3 posts from his page. Tell me, what do these 3 posts have in common? Really think about it, take a second. They have nothing to do with barbering. There's no haircut, there's no transformation, there's no check out this fade. These are posts that simply align with who he is. It talks about his story, it talks about literally anything that doesn't have to do with the clippers. And honestly, that's a big part of what most barbers forget. He's not taking a break from posting barbering content. This is not an accident. It's an integral part of building his personal brand. And before I move on, I'm gonna quickly break down what a personal brand actually is. So a personal brand is a unique, it's a key word there, unique content system that separates one from 99% of their industry. And in terms of barbers, there's not many who have done it better than Sam. Most barbers think their content's job is to prove that they can cut hair. And the best way to do that is just to post their client's head. But when building a personal brand, that is exactly what not to do. Sam's content is strategically made to make you feel like you already know, like, and trust him, whilst building a brand that exceeds just him being viewed as another barber, which I know is what you think of him. You don't just think of him as a random barber who's just cutting from a barber shop. He's seen as more than that within the industry. So let me show you the psychology behind it, because I don't want you just to take my word for it. When you start to post things that align with your personality, the stuff you actually care about, your opinions, your story, you stop just being another service provider like the millions of other barbers in the industry, and you start to become a person that people can follow, a character, a journey. So I want you to think about the last time you followed someone's story on social media, and I bet it wasn't because you were tracking a service they provided. It's because you wanted to know what happens next in their life. And once someone is invested into your journey, choosing your services won't be a decision anymore. It's just the next logical step in the relationship they've built through watching your content online. For example, if you were to bump into Sam on the street and he says, "Would you like a free haircut?" Of course you're gonna say yes, right? Now I want you to think if you went up to a stranger and asked them that same question. It's more than likely that person is gonna say no. And it's not because you're not famous, you don't have to be, but simply because not enough trust has been built. And this is a factor that 99% of barbers just fail to understand. You should treat your content like it's the constant pursuit of getting your audience to know, like, and trust you. Because if you don't and you fall into the trap that 99% of barbers fall into, your profile is just gonna look something like this. Every post is just purely transactional. There's no person behind the work, there's no story, and there's no reason for anyone to actually care about what this person posts next. But I want to be clear, as a barber, it's still vital to show your work, unless you want to be an influencer or something. So Sam still posts his barbering content, but when he does, there's always intention behind it, and I'll show you what I mean. So have a look at these 2 posts. Notice when he's still showing off the quality of his service, he is still the focal point of the video. Not the haircut, he is. It's not just look at this fade I did, it's look at this client, he's come in with a problem. Here's how I'm gonna solve it, and here's what he walked out with. And that shift does 2 things at once. Not only does it show off the quality of his service, it also positions him as the expert who solved the problem, which builds so much more trust for everyone in his audience, and particularly the people that have the same problem as the client which he solved the problem for in the video. And that's the difference between building a portfolio and building your positioning as a barber. You can have the exact same skill, but the intention of the video is just what makes all the difference. Here's the uncomfortable truth for a lot of barbers watching this, and I say this with all due respect, and only because I've seen it play out with my clients over and over again before I started working with them. Being booked out isn't everything. I know barbers whose calendars look like this, literally booked out 5-6 days a week and still stuck. And that's because being busy behind the chair has a ceiling. Your day only has so many hours in it. The barbers who break through that ceiling, just like Sam, are the ones who have a bigger purpose than just being a slave to the chair. They don't let just being booked out drive them. They're the ones who want the brand deals. They want to run mentorships. They want to open a 1st or 2nd location on their store. They want to raise their prices without losing clients. And the barbers like Sam who have achieved all this, They don't do it because they cut better than you. They're able to do it simply because they are better positioned than you. And that's what a personal brand will afford you, leverage. But I want to show you that this isn't just a theory or luck and that it can actually work for you too. So this is Ethan. He came to me when he was grinding, 10+ hour days. He was posting his haircuts here and there, and literally just his clients' heads. And no surprise, nothing was converting. He was charging less than he was worth. He had no clarity on how to get out of this loop. It was keeping him trapped and making no progress towards the goals that he first had when he picked up the clippers. So he started working with me, and after only 45 days of implementing my one-on-one barber blueprint, he landed his first ambassadorship. And not only did he land his first ambassadorship, he educated for that brand on the main stage of Australia's biggest barber expo. Now he's in a position to run the mentorship he once dreamed about. Neither of those results actually came from getting better at what he was doing. He's the same barber skill-wise as he was before we started working together. The results simply came from implementing a system that positioned him as more than a guy who cuts hair. So if you're watching this thinking, okay, how do I actually apply this? Here's the shift broken down for you very simply. You need to show your personality and not treat your personal brand like a portfolio. You need to share your opinions, share your story, and provide value to your audience. That's what's gonna make your audience feel like they can already know, like, and trust you. And in an industry where everyone is providing the same service, that's how you stand out because there's only one of you. As we talked about, when you post your work, frame yourself as the person solving the problem, just like Sam. Not just the hands executing the technique or the mystery barber that did a clean fade. And you've got to be consistent about it. This isn't just a one-off post, it's a system. The same way that Sam didn't get to where he is today with one viral haircut, he got there from months of showing up as himself over and over again until people felt like they already know, like, and trusted him before they've even sat down in his chair. Look, I'm not a barber. I don't cut hair. What I do is build a system for barbers that allows them to break free from being a slave to the chair and position themselves as a category of one, just like Sam and just like Ethan. So if you're currently booked out, but you know your brand isn't reflecting your skill and your professionalism, I'm taking on a limited amount of clients at the moment. So if the link to book a call is still in my description, that means there is still a spot available for you to hop on a call with me, have a chat, and to see how we can start applying this into your business today. Look forward to speaking with you.